good morning. We're here at Amerite Tires at Hamcation, and we're with Jeff and WB3 ISP.
Yes, sir.
I like that. That's kind of a cool ISP.
Yeah. I'll let you guess
call
what.
sign.
I'll let you guess what I did when I became a ham.
You're an internet service provider.
Bingo.
Absolutely. So very familiar with it. I've seen you guys out there and out and about, but prior to recording here, you said you were kind of newer to the amateur radio community. Even though you've always been there, you're kind of now more marketing to amateur radio a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm kind of the first ham.
I don't remember
to be out there.
I don't seen you at prior Hamventions or Hamcations before.
No, this is our first kind
time.
of foray out into the ham radio space.
Oh wow!
So our president Doug Schmidt has always been on the commercial side, but I'm the first ham to kind of come along. And in October we're kind of going back and forth.
Why not do ham stuff?
Exactly.
Absolutely. There's a lot of towers going up. I just put my tower up last year at 65 foot. And so what really caught my eye was initially like this. This is a nice smooth finish, like a powder coat type finish. Like how cool is that? That was really nice.
So we can do full powder coating on pretty much any of our 25 or 45 series. We can powder coat anything you want at the end of the day, but it obviously comes at a bit of a price.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it provides a different finish.
Is it a lot more expensive to go from that versus like a galvanized finish, kind of like this one here?
Yeah, this is the galvanized finish is kind of what the industry has been using since the dawn of time, unless you're going with a full aluminum tower.
Sure.
There is obviously an upcharge on going to powder coating.
Yeah.
The price dramatically drops down the more sections you're getting done. If you're only doing one or two, it's obviously more expensive. If you're doing a 60-foot or an 80-foot kit, then obviously the prices definitely come down from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's a bunch of different color options as well.
So someone may ask the question, I'll pose it out there, how are you really different than Ron 25 a little bit? Because it's like, well, why would I buy that versus I can get maybe this one for, this 10-foot section cost me, $120. I don't know. Let's say, I'm throwing a price out there. I shouldn't know because I bought a couple sections last year, but I don't recall off the top of my head. I've slept a few nights since then.
Yeah.
But what would be the difference?
I'd say our build quality is probably much superior to what you're going to get out on the market right now. Most of the people that have installed our towers and have been doing their own forever much prefer our build quality, the finish. We don't get that icicles on the outside that kind of come from the galvanization process. You're not cutting up your hands.
Oh yeah, it can be a little rough for sure. I wore leather gloves building my tower.
Yeah, exactly. Our bottom sections where everything joins together go a lot smoother. So when you're assembling these sections, you're not having to ream out the bottom of it.
I did that too a little bit on a couple sections here and there.
So it's kind of more just kind of the build quality. From the gauge of steel, our rungs are just slightly thicker.
Okay.
Nothing really measurable unless you had a caliper out there.
Right.
But like I said, we've been around since 1953, so it's not our first day building these guys.
Yeah.
And we've sold hundreds of thousands of feet of this stuff.
Oh wow! And you can get all the way to what, 300 feet? You said?
I mean, it depends on what the engineering will allow it to happen, right? So,
so you can do a standard, just three equal, what do they call that type of triangle? Just like an acute triangle where it's even all the way across. But you can also do it so it's self-supporting and have more of a tapered system going up.
Correct, yeah. So, and these are all just straight sections. So our 25, 45, and 55 series, they're just straight section. They're meant to be guide.
But they have to be guide. Okay, that's
You can do, like on 25, you can do a couple of sections without really having to worry about it.
40 feet, you could probably do it.
40 feet starts getting a little bit sketchy, unguided, and it all depends on what you're putting at the top of there, right?
That does. Wind load will make all the difference. You got to do some calculations when you build a tower. Anytime.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So to put in perspective, at 60 feet, we've got about 11 square feet of wind loading at 60 feet guide, right?
Gotcha.
Our 45 series is about 40 feet.
Okay.
So there's obviously a much bigger difference on the wind loading side. So I know hams will come to me with a spec and say, I'm just putting a small vertical antenna, a small 10-foot antenna on top of this, nothing big. And then in 2 years from now, they've thrown a hex beam up there, they got a 6-meter beam up there, they've overloaded the tower, and the tower is almost falling apart.
Yeah, it's unstable.
Right? So what we try to explain to people is spend that extra money in the beginning, get a tower that's going to be for the future, and then not have to worry about it.
Sure.
Right.
I'm just trying to see if there's anything here based on some of the stuff that would be interesting. Talking about rotors, so we're going to talk about some accessories.
Yep.
You're going to need standoffs, or you might want, instead of a point like this, you may want like a flat platform on top.
Exactly.
A base plate, you're going to have a rotor plate, you're going to have those different things that you're going to need. You got all that.
We've got a ton of accessories available on our Amerite series of towers. So on our website, you'll see under our towers, you have Amerite, and that's our 25, 45, 55 series.
Okay.
We have solid leg versions as well.
Wow.
on our 45s.
Wow.
So it's and the 55s as well. So it's a full solid tube as opposed to a hollow. It's more of a rod than a hollow tube.
That's gonna be heavy.
It's heavy, yeah, very much so. But again, depending on the use case that you're putting it in, you might need that.
So if someone says, hey, I'm looking to do this, I've got these antennas, this stuff, I need some help figuring out what I need. I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking for. Can you help out with that and give some specs or give some guidance along those things?
Absolutely. So I kind of came on board to help out Amerite to kind of bring that amateur radio side in.
Oh,
so our engineers are very well versed on anything telecom size.
But they're talking to me up here, and I'm going, I don't understand what the heck they just, like, what's the frequency going on here? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand. So
they understand, 6-foot microwave backhaul dishes, right? That's what our team understands.
Putting up a 3-element, beam of some sort.
It means nothing to them, right?
What is that? How much do I need for an antenna? So, okay, very cool.
So, that's what we try to do is trying to kind of bring in the amateur radio experience into selling these towers to amateurs. So We're trying to market. We're not far from Dayton as well. We're about an hour and a half, a little under 2 hours for Dayton. So we're going to do our best to be there in Dayton as well and bring maybe some of the bigger options out there and to see what people are asking for.
And where can somebody find you?
amertower.com, AMERtower.com. We've got almost a 400-page catalog on our website of everything that we offer. So everything's on there. Reach out to us, Jeff at amertower.com, and I'll gladly respond with whatever price you have.
This time we just reach out to you directly and
100%.
Say, hey, I need to speak with Jeff because you might get some other sales guy or some other person possibly.
Yeah, and if you're calling about amateur radio, they're going to direct you towards me anyways. So at the end of the day, our guys are brilliant. But like you said, they don't understand the Yagi side, the amateur radio, understanding that hams sometimes don't always give the full picture of what they're going to load their tower with.
True.
So
you can kind of questions and ask some of those questions that might trigger some questions from the guy asking about how to build a tower. So
I've been in the industry for over 25 years, so I kind of
I've
put up a tower or two in my life.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us here on the Ham Radio Guy podcast today. And welcome to Hamcation. Thanks for being here.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one. 73. We'll catch you again next time, guys. Thanks for watching the Ham Radio Guy. 73.